This is a very important event for us, Chinese for Labour, because we have come out to support David Miliband. We, as members of Chinese for Labour, know who David Miliband is, and we feel that for non-members of Chinese for Labour, that it's good for David to talk to them and for people to actually know who David Miliband is, so that if he gets elected as leader of the party, that people can relate to who David is. So hence the reason for this evening's event. Good evening, everyone. Sorry you're slightly late. Welcome to this evening's event. My name is Sunny Leong. I'm the chair for Chinese for Labour. Chinese for Labour represents and promotes the interests of Chinese people within the Labour Party, improving the quality of life and also representation of the Chinese community in Britain. Mark was the MP for Preston since 2000 by-election, and before that he was the MEP for Central Lancashire from 94 to 99. Mark is married to Yanan, who is here with him. Mark, over to you.
And therefore I think tonight should be a feast for all of you who have important questions, not only about the future of the Labour Party and the future of this country, but of course China and our relationships with China, and of course the role and the position of Chinese people within the UK. And I'd like to introduce David Miliband.
Sorry, but I'll introduce David. Now, before I introduce David, how many of you are here tonight are Labour Party members? Right, we've got a lot of work to do. Now, since election on 6th of May, the Labour Party has gained over 30,000 new members. To say to the world's second largest economy that we do not want to have a special relationship with you. No, we just want a close engagement. This is in the coalition government document. All previous Conservative government had a mistrust of China, and this present government is no different. Remember, in the first leaders' debate, David Cameron cited that Britain must spend almost £100 billion to maintain our nuclear deterrent, because we are uncertain of the future of China. Our guest speaker, David Miliband. Some of you may know Chinese for Labour. We have endorsed David to be leader of our Labour Party. He was a Kennedy Scholar at Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the States. David is married with 2 children. Will the real David Miliband please stand up?
Thank you very much, Sunny, for that very warm introduction, and thank you to Mark for being here and for your leadership in Parliament. One of the things that I emphasise is the need for the Labour Party to turn outwards to become a community-based party again. And that's one of the things that I think Chinese for Labour can help us achieve. Because the maxim of successful movements for change is that they meet people where they are and address the concerns that they have. And I want to see the Labour Party turning outwards, so that it is an organisation that in every community in Britain is asking how can we support the demands for affordable housing or safer streets or decent jobs that are in those communities. And I want to see the Labour Party as an ally of those communities as they seek change in their lives, not just by the election of councillors and MPs, but actually by being a force in civil society. Let me just say a word about the international context, because I think it's very, very important. None of the things I've talked about on the economic, social, or political domain can be understood without speaking about the global context that we face. And here, Britain's relations with China, any country's relations with China, become very important indeed. China's got a big role to play in shaping the world of the 21st century as economic power shifts from west to east. I think we can continue to be both winners from globalization if we tackle its inequalities, its insecurities, and its unsustainabilities in a serious way. And that's what I'd be committed to hold the government to account for, the new government here. And it's what I'd like to see the Labour Party put itself in a position to be as a leading force in British politics. Thank you very much indeed.
Before you ask a question, if you could sort of say who you are and the organisation that you're representing, or what kind of job you do.
Why should the young British Chinese vote for Labour? What are you going to do to make our future better? Like the lady was just saying about GCSE results today, in the years to come, what are you going to do for them so that they have a bright future? Yeah, and specifically young British Chinese, why should we vote for you?
I think we have got to be the party that says that we are going to be able to secure your future, both as an employee or as a business person, secure your future in a community, because there are going to be big pressures on housing, and for young families young people are thinking of bringing up families. We've got to be the party that meets your aspirations for the sort of country that you want to live in and that you want to bring up your children in. And that it speaks to not just the material things, but also the non-material things. One of the things I'm most worried about with this government is going to produce a colder climate in Britain, not in the literal sense that the weather's going to get worse, but it's going to be a colder Britain. A Britain where actually the things that we've taken for granted over the last few years, free swimming for the elderly, that is something that's opened doors for elderly people. It goes with free entry to museums, which haven't yet been attacked. And people get confidence out of the security that comes from knowing that other people will look out for them. And I think it's a very sad day when Britain becomes a country where the contract between government and people, and the government says we'll do less and you do more. That's what the big society says. That's not a very good contract. The covenant that I believe in is that we do more and you do more. So it's give and take, not just take and give, which is what the Tories are saying. We'll give less, and you're going to have to give more. That's not a viable way for the future. So I think that we would be a party that speaks to your material and to your non-material interests. There's another point though, which is that I think that those communities that do have foreign origin, and I speak as someone who's the first person in my family to be born in this country, there is an internationalism about your outlook that's built into your DNA, really. And I think that's quite important, because my fear is that the government have quite a shriveled notion of what it means to be British and what British foreign policy is. So I think it's quite an exciting idea, really. And if you think that there are 500,000 Chinese, Britons of Chinese origin, that is a big community, a big constituency out there that's waiting for representation, and waiting for representation not by others, but through itself. And there are campaigns in the Chinese community, I know about it. Some of them are about business issues, some of them are about educational issues, some of them are about travel issues, there's a whole range of them. And we've got to be the people who address them. Thank you.
David, as leader of the Labour Party, will you have biannual meetings with representatives from the Chinese community and work with Chinese for Labour to ensure that its voice is heard? That's one. Endeavour to build a broad and deep Chinese representation, starting in local government and then getting candidates to run for winnable seats in Westminster elections. And also, this is very important, to ensure that members of the Chinese community are properly and publicly recognized for their contributions. Currently, less than 200 people, Chinese people, actually given public honors, and that's really shameful. We've got to correct that. Will you make that pledge to us?
Everything except the biannual meetings.
Annual. Once a year.
Annual, okay, it's a deal.
Excellent.
Annual is a deal.
Right, you've got to sign this pledge, isn't it?
But I think there needs to be a really follow-up. So, okay, now that is done. What do we do now? How do we address this? Because it's at all.
It's green tea.
Excellent, excellent. Fantastic. Thank you. I love green tea, so that is brilliant.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Thanks for your hard work.
Thank you.
Oh, great. Well, you'll be sick of, you'll be sick of.
I'm not stalking you.
Allergic. Another politician. I was expecting.
That's good. Oh, well done. Yes, I tweeted on that.
Yeah. I agree.
Was he supportive?
Yeah, of course.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody.